What's the deal? Bad Listeners back online. We're here with none other than DUANE at the legendary Dutch Girl Donuts. So for the people at home who might not know, let them know. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I'm a musician, a producer, performance artist, writer, political organizer, community organizer, just all-around artist.
Hell yeah.
Citizen of Detroit.
That's sweet. So you got a new single out, Up the Scoe. And that's actually how I found out about you. I just saw that song on Instagram, and right away I was like, I got to tap in. This video is crazy, and
I love it.
The song's banging. So could you kind of talk a little bit about the process of coming up with that and executing the video?
Story. So I've written Up the Scoe about a year or so ago, and I just had it just stored on the computer, like a lot of songs I write and like make on Logic. You know, there's just beats that sit around for months to years and then get repurposed at some point. But then I was struggling trying to figure out what the instrumental I wanted behind it, because I make 90% of my own instrumentals. But this one I was like, I wasn't liking everything I was putting together with it so much. But I was listening to my workout playlist, and there was some DJ Godfather on.
Oh yeah.
Part of my childhood soundtrack. Him and his beats, his mixes. And I liked a song on one of his newer EPs. It's a song called Ghost in the Beat. And I said, I think this fits. And it just so happened to be the same BPM. And it was just like, it's the first time I've ever did an instrumental where I sample, I'm just gonna use it. Like rappers and hip hop artists do, rap over beat. I did it, that's what I did. And so we put it out late in the fall just to test it out, There's levels to this stuff, We shot the video in January, that's
okay.
a gap, And then at that point, right before we shot the video, before we committed to shooting the video, my manager I've been working with for a few months now, he was like, we should reach out to Godfather, we gotta get it official,
Oh yeah.
And so they had to sort that deal out. I still haven't met him yet, but they worked it out. And it was this back and forth thing,
So he's in on it? He's like...
Well, we got the license.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Hell yeah.
So that's taken care of.
That's what matters.
Yeah, signed, sealed, delivered, But I haven't met him yet. I hope to meet him sometime soon. But now that it's out there, I got some good love from a lot of DJs in Detroit, Shigetto, Nick Speed.
Hell yeah.
I know they've been playing it. Stacey Hotwaxx Hale, who's been a big part of our circle now.
Yeah?
So I'm working with her now, and yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, I mean, I feel like on this song, obviously, you're going off the Godfather sample and you're interpolating Vezzo in there with the vocal samples.
That too.
So I feel like a lot of your music, you really kind of wear Detroit on your sleeve and really put that forward. So can you kind of speak on sort of how the city, works its way into your artistry?
For this, I guess, period of my work right now, it is very heavily Detroit focused. I wanted to reference. First of all, I'm a big lover of pop music. So, and pop music is all about referencing things. You take inspiration and ideas and aesthetics and looks and vibes, as the kids would call it nowadays.
Absolutely.
Of things, and then you reference that and you put it into a format that's easily digestible. And so, they're interviewing me. I'm a musician. Hi, I'm DUANE.
Nice.
What's your name?
Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn. I love your hair.
Oh, thanks. It's really
And those
curly,
pants.
but it looks great.
Okay. And those pants, very sharp, very sharp. She looks good. Very 70s. Okay, I wasn't gonna say 70s until I saw the shoes. Yeah, I want to say with the hair. Yes, yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so pop music is all about referencing stuff. And so for this project, I wanted to reference the music I heard as a kid, DJ Assault and Godfather,
Yeah, did I catch on Manoogie and Jid? Is that a Sex on the Beach sample?
No. But it's similar.
I was like, I wasn't sure, but it sounds like kind of right in that pocket.
I love DJ Assault. He's one of my, my rap inspirations. I feel like he's very pop music himself, he has a lot of, he has his hooks, his repetition. He has his lyrics,
Absolutely.
He likes getting on a mic, I've seen him a couple times play live. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, that's dope.
But yeah, so as a kid, I would hear the house parties next door to me in the late 90s, early 2000s, playing, all the ghettotech and stuff I didn't know was Detroit music at the time. It was just part of music, or at a school playground, we would sing soap and water, soap and water. We're going to wash our hands in the bathroom, anything like that. Like, I didn't know what that song was. I just knew that's what we were singing at school. Or, you know, just around just living, you know, or, you know, going into like at school, you hear like the DJ Sluggo, like the Godzilla, you know, and Godfather, his mix on it, you know, that. I didn't know. That's just a Detroit anthem, you know. But anyway, I wanted to reference that and also reference all the great things I like about the city, because being a community organizer and being born and raised here, I said, you know what, let's just put it on the sleeve. Let's just do D everything. It's, you know, D Manoogie and Jet, you know, like, or
D for DUANE.
Yeah, D for DUANE. Yeah, D for Detroit, you know. Up D Scoe, you know.
Oh yeah.
I've met Vezzo once because he's really big into showing up to like get out the vote events. I've organized a voter registration rally that he was a part of. You know, we met very briefly. We didn't talk about music or anything. But I like that he's a really big part of the community, showing up and stuff. So like I said, he'd be a great person reference, and I love the message. I saw that it's from an interview actually. That bit. I was like, you know what? Let's throw that in there too. Then let's do that.
Hell yeah. So. Are those two songs part of a project that you're putting out?
Like a collective, like a EP or album? No, they'll just be singles. I have a couple EPs I'm working on right now to be very seasonal. I have a Pride EP I'm working on.
Okay.
And then I'm working on a record with Stacey Hotwaxx Hale. She's doing a remix of D Manoogie and Jet.
Damn, that's so sick.
Yeah, hers will be like the de facto official version. And like I feel like the one that's out now is very like testing the waters. Hey guys. Is it raining?
Yeah, it's raining a little bit.
Snow. It's so powdery looking.
It's a little bit thick. All right, I'm gonna just move my camera slightly so it's under the under the on it.
But yeah, I'm working on a remix of D Manoogie and Jet with Stacey Hotwaxx Hale.
Fire.
I've heard little bits of it. I've been in the studio with her. You know, she's working her magic. She's trying to get it done as soon as possible because it may be possibility to get it on wax very soon. Like I don't know how that's possible, but you cannot test Stacey. Like she will make something happen. That's how I've noticed her personality over the last few months. I've been knowing her and being in her orbit. Is that she don't want to hear she can't do something.
Speaking of wax, speaking of you on wax in particular, you know, I thought that when I saw your song on Instagram, that was my first time interacting with your music, but I found out that that's actually not true. I've been playing a record of yours in almost every DJ set that I've ever done when I'm playing vinyl, and I have it here.
I think I know what it is too. This is very Nardwuar of you right now.
Yeah, accidental Nardwuar here. But I have.
Oh, yeah.
DUANE, the brand new dog.
Listen.
This record is fire. It gets the people going.
I love that because, so I lived a lot. I like to say I lived a lot of lives. A lot of different names and eras and time periods. I lived a lot of different lives, a lot of different names and eras and time periods. And the brand new dog was my second life. It was when I was feeling a bit jaded about the industry, you know, after I was a Teenage Weirdo. I don't know if you know about that bit, you know.
I don't.
No, that's how I started out. It's a whole long story.
Damn.
I started as a performance artist in the early 2010s, right out of high school as the DUANE the Teenage Weirdo.
Okay.
I was just doing this bizarre 80s lo-fi synth pop music with Pokemon interlude, Game Boy tune interludes, and gothic. I was big David Bowie inspired. Klaus Know Me, Cindy Lop. I love a lot of different music, weird stuff, you know. And I post my flyers all around town, everywhere, and a lot of cool things happened to me very quickly, you know. I was signed to a label, you know. But I didn't know what was going on. I was doing, so I kind of got caught up in that, and
I feel it.
It took a couple year off, and I became this guy here. I wore my little power suits and my berets. Felt like I was all grown up. I was like, I'm in my 20s now, you know.
Hell yeah.
And then this record came out on Chambray. A guy named Vinny Massimino. He's in LA right now. I'm not sure what he's doing. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I know the name for sure. I'm not too familiar, but I definitely heard of him.
He's with Ghetto and that crew. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I know him. Yeah. And then that was This Life. You know, this is very house inspired. I'll make all my own beats and everything. And
yeah, the house remix on there is crazy too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's by Brett Symbolic. I think he's in New York. Oh my goodness, I haven't looked at this in a long time.
I'm telling you, like like I said, I played this in almost every vinyl set, and the people get going to it. I'll be up there singing along to it. It's a banger.
Lo-fi freedom. Wow, that's funny. So DUANE the brand new dog. Then after that, I was DUANE, the Jet Black Eel. It was my glam rock project. I had a band. Went to Europe a little bit and everything, and we were just, it was very glam rock. I was wearing my little Western, my blue jeans. It was the first time I wore pants on stage, was that era, you know.
Whoa.
My boots and my plaid shirts and my guys, you know, like that. Even though that era I didn't play the instruments on those because it was rock music and a little bit country. I still had to, on MIDI files, I would make the demos and tell the guys, okay, I'll play this on your guitar, play your drums. So I still was making everything
Still
myself.
arranging and composing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you said you started out as a performance artist. So is live performance still a big part of your artistry today?
Yeah. It's just been weird now. I feel like when I first started early on the scene, you know, when I was a Teenage Weirdo and even Brand New Dog, there was a lot more live music shows to be a part of, you know. And so in between me being a Jet Black Eel, I had another life where I was basically like a housewife in Beverly Hills in LA. When my ex was in tech, you know. Yeah, I was so serious. Yeah, that was that was my life during that time. And so during the day while he's working, I'll go to card shops and play Magic, you know, and everything. That was my little
Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Okay, fire.
See, I'm going off the rails right now. But anyway, when I came back in 2019, I'm like, and then 2020, the pandemic hit. And after the pandemic hit, I noticed that everything's just DJs now. None of that's bad, but every show is just DJ, and they're just not interested in booking live acts.
Do you DJ at all?
No, I don't DJ. And then I've been almost booked for some things, you know, because they assumed I was, because they assume everyone is, you know. I had to tell them, well, no, I don't. I
feel like your music would make so much sense for that. Like, you know, maybe you gotta dip your toes in the waters of that.
But I feel like, but everyone's doing that, you know. I kind of like.
That's true.
The rebel in me was kind of like, you know, I would learn from my own skill set. But the rebel in me is like, I don't want to just do it just because there's enough people doing it, you know.
So when you're playing live shows these days, like, what's the vibe? Do you have a DJ? Like,
I had a DJ a couple years ago. There was a guy named DJ Paul, DJ Papa Kitty. He would scratch and everything. He was really cool, you know, just me and him just doing stuff. Very fun stuff. We do shows now and then. But my main focus on this show is me and my dancers. I have a JIT crew. It's 4 or 5 dancers, and it's usually 3 or 4 at a time. And then we go over to their house in the basement. You know, they're members of the Detroit JIT crew. Detroit JIT Masters.
So is that like is your crew like dancing in that video for your new single?
Yeah, they're in my video for Up to Scoe. Yeah, they had to make up the routine. Lamar, the lead choreographers, you know, he's really quiet, but he has these ideas. And I'm like, okay, Lamar, what should you do for this? I explain things like, I know I want to be here and doing that and that, whatever, and this is the vibe, you guys. This is the storyline. And they're looking at me kind of like, because they're really great dancers. The JIT crew, they're great, but they're used to like just going to a place and just busting moves, you know. But so we're meeting each other halfway. They got the moves. I'm like, I have the concepts and like vision of like, this is how we're gonna stage it, you know. It's gonna come in like, you know, like a very Afrofuturism, sci-fi, you know, there's costume changes, you know, I have to get them used to that. We're gonna time things, you guys, you know. So we did our first full set for the Hamtramck Blowout Festival.
Oh, okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, and that was a really big reunion-like moment because it was me, Pasalakwa, Steph Chura, and a couple other bands. I'm like, well, yeah, we were all coming back at the same time. We all kind of played. I used to open up when I was a Teenage Weirdo. I would open up for rock bands. So like the guys were setting up their instruments and everything, the garage rock groups, you know, and they're setting up their instruments and everything. I got my iPad or whatever, like playing my tracks. Even my girl, my assistant, we have our props and silly things on stage, and that's what we would do. So I've always kind of like a misfit of every show I would do.
That's fire.
You know, so now it's like more so of us trying to fit into like parties and special events. Nothing like regularly occurring. My next show coming up is there's going to be a big party for Detroit versus Everybody is doing a movement at the party.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's called Detroit DJs versus Everybody. So I'll be the only live performer among all those DJs.
Where's that at?
Their new storefront is at the not Russell, but Eastern Market.
Okay.
Yep. It's a great big space. I was there a couple of weeks ago for 313 Day, where they had like a big art gallery, you know. It's a beautiful space. So there are gonna be a lot of DJs all night on the 23rd of May, moving at the party. And I'll be there performing with my crew late into the night. It's gonna be a late one because I think it starts like 12 midnight. But I'll be
Damn.
alright. Whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I told my dancers yet. Like, it's gonna be a late one, you guys. Y'all ready?
Need some Red Bull. Keep y'all moving.
Yeah. And then also I'll be doing a pop up at Low Key. Nick Speed's Nick Speed and DJ Deadphone's party that same week.
Shouts out to them.
Yeah.
I was just hanging out with Deadphone like a week ago at Last Chance. That's my guy.
Yeah.
And Nick Speed too. Detroit legend. And Low Key, honestly, very good venue. So that's gonna be sick.
Yeah. It's gonna be cramped.
Yeah.
But we'll make room to
It gets a little sweaty in there.
It is.
That's dope. So other than that, any other major shows or anything coming up on the horizon you want people to know about?
That's the biggest as far as shows goes, but I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited about the Stacey collab. That's gonna come out in time for movement season, sometime in May. A video for that very soon. I want to focus it on a lot of Detroit, maybe some small business, maybe some organizers. Not entirely sure. I just want to represent the city well, like really make it more so about the city as a collective, and people taking ownership and power. That's why it's called that, because like the Manukian Mansion, it's all about like Detroiters like saying they're not happy with the system and they want to take back the city and like they want to put us in charge. We've been here, so
Hell yeah.
That's a concept for that, and so hopefully we'll shoot that really soon. Now that the weather's breaking, I didn't want ugly gray skies and naked trees in that video, so that's why we've been pushing it off.
Yeah, your classic Detroit walking around in the snow type video. that
It's
wasn't
so
the vibe.
cold in the D. I like that
Hell
song.
yeah.
It's a great video.
Banger.
It's a great video.
Yeah, so you got anything else you want to say to the people?
Yeah, just keep looking at me. I'm excited about this new era, this new part of my life. I think it's a special one. DUANE, we're gonna go up the Scoe and check it out.
All right, you heard it here first. DUANE, up the Scoe, Detroit. It all sounds bad. Peace.
Bad listener.